Good afternoon. Welcome to, well, I guess our lunch and learn, all about AI. I will get started very shortly. I will sure let people in. If you can hear me, okay, please do comment below. Hopefully the chat's working because every time I do a webinar, I forget to do the chat. So hopefully that is working okay. So if you can let me know if you are hearing me loud and clear. There's also a Q&A box if you can't chat, and I can normally find it from in there. Today we're going to be talking about AI and the impact on search. So if that's of interest to you, let me know what you're hoping to get out of the webinar. I'm just going to change that there. So hopefully the chat should now work. I've just found the option. Every time I set webinar up, that option is not in there, but it is there now. So if you can put something in the chat, just so I know it's working. It's not convinced it's working. I've got Q&A. There's always a sign. The chat is not working, but I can hear you. Thank you. Says chat disabled. Okay, let's have a quick look. It says everyone. I'm assuming you're sending a recording. Yes, I will be sending a recording. Well, no idea why the chat's not working. Well, let's just leave the chat as it is. All the options are there, so I'll sure leave it like that. So a quick look there. No, fine. It does say it will work, but it doesn't seem to be playing ball. So I will just use the Q&A. Use the Q&A. It's absolutely fine. And I will sort that as we go. So let me know in the Q&A what it is exactly you're looking for today, and I'll see if I can cover that if I don't already cover it. I'm going to go through 3 quick wins to help you boost your online visibility, specifically about your website today. So that's what I'm going to cover. AI is going to change everything, and it probably already is changing everything. So I wanted to really cover some ground today on your search results and where your website gets found online, because that's already being changed as we speak. So I'm going to share screen, put my slides on, and hopefully you can see those. I'll have one last go at the chat. Let's just make sure it's set to everyone. It is. No idea why that's not working, but we'll try that again. Come on, PowerPoint has just crashed. Slideshow. Hang on, lost you all. Where's my Zoom gone? There it is. Right. Hopefully you can now all see that. I will get cracking. I'll try and keep an eye on the Q&A. Well, I've now lost it whilst I screen share, so there it is. It's down there. Q&A. So there we go. There. Perfect. So if there are any questions, give me a shout. I'll keep an eye on it on there, and let's jump into it. So, what are we going to cover? Essentially, AI, biggest shift in our lifetimes, says Google themselves. You've probably seen the statistics of how long it took to get a TV in every single household in the UK. It goes all the way up to how long it took to get people to adopt social media. The adoption of AI was just phenomenal. The speed that ChatGPT got to 1 million was absolutely incredible. I'm not going to share loads of stats and data and things in here. We can all agree it is absolutely amazing how fast this is growing. And I think one of the reasons for that is, I shared this in our podcast that went live this morning, it's actually really good. It's actually fixes a problem we didn't realize we had, which was, well, Googling takes a lot of time. And specifically, that's what I'm going to be talking about this morning. Googling takes quite a lot of time compared to Gemini, ChatGPT, or whatever tool that you use. So this reworking of how we access the internet, how we get information is genuinely brilliant. And I see people from all walks of life and all ages using it. So it's a huge shift. And like I said on our podcast, it's like supply and demand. People want this because it works. So they are using it, and it's now playing out into so many other areas of our life. So it's going to be an incredibly huge transition for us, very quick as well. It's not like the internet was quite slow to adopt, and it wasn't really until we had proper access to mobile internet that it really exploded on it. But now we've got everything in place. I think the only thing that holds AI back is people are scared of it. there's probably not quite enough power to run it, but the rest of it, it's just going to fly. So it's a massive shift. So it certainly is like the yellow pages moment. A lot of businesses were like, oh, this is all I know. All I know is the yellow pages. Now I've got to do online marketing. This is the next level up from that. So if you're already doing online marketing, you understand social media, you've got a website, you're doing email, you go networking, exhibiting, you're doing paid ads, all of this. This is all going to be impacted by AI. So, why does it matter? Why does it matter? It matters because it's essentially going to completely rework the search results, and it already is doing that. It's already happening, and mainly because of the top one there, the AI generated summaries. So, when you go to search engines, you'll get a summary, but also when you use chatbots like ChatGPT and Grok, you get instant answers straight away. Um, the the top of these search results is what I'm going to focus on mostly today. All of our clients and other people I speak to are seeing a decline in their organic traffic. And organic traffic is the traffic you get from Google. Someone types into Google, they need help with XYZ, and your business will be in there somewhere in those search results. But the amount of people clicking through is diminishing. And that's because of the zero click economy, which is the final point on that slide. People get the answers without going to your website now. They get them from those AI summaries on Google. They get them from chatbots. They're getting their information without coming to your website. So you're going to see a decline in traffic. It doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to see a decline in your traffic. Unless, of course, you have a completely different strategy now and you change your focus completely, then you're probably going to see that rise. Let's say you're absolutely horrendous at SEO before, now you improve it, maybe you'll see a rise. But most people will see a decline. But it's not all bad news. This isn't a doom and gloom webinar, and I'm going to show you some things to do after it. This is the AI summary if you don't know what I'm talking about. So the AI overview at the top. And I actually asked Google about AI summaries, and you can see there 18% of all searches in March 2025 triggered an AI overview. However, they're now suggesting that 50% of search results in the middle of this year were then AI summaries. So you can see where this is going. I also said this on our podcast this week. I actually think eventually in the not too distant future, because it's very quick, this stuff, that the search results will just be AI. They will just be an AI, you know, chat. That's what they'll be with links to all of the stuff on the internet. And that's how you'll probably access it because people like it. The percentage of people using the AI summaries is huge. If you get an AI summary, people stay there. They use the information there, which is creating a significantly lower click through to your website. So that's what we're dealing with. That's what I'm going to cover today. Also, bear in mind, it's not all about old people and young people, but 68% or 66% of 18 to 24-year-olds in the US ask AI services like Google, Gemini, ChatGPT to make a recommendation about product or service. So they're not going to Google for it, they're asking AI. Nearly all of my team do it. I bet your family are doing it. One of my clients yesterday said he doesn't even use Google anymore. He just goes to AI. So we're looking for these tools for the answers. We're speaking to AI all the time because most of the time it's pretty good and it's very, very fast. And it does genuinely solve a problem that we didn't realize we had, which was speed. I think this is why Uber worked really well. Gary Vaynerchuk always talks about how Uber wasn't selling taxis, it was selling time because you could order an Uber, you could see when it was coming and you could do things before the taxi arrived. You didn't need to be standing by your door looking out the window. People didn't realize until that point that they were wasting a lot of time ordering, and Uber, yes, it's cheaper, but it's not actually a cheap taxi you're paying for. It's the time you're getting. And I think AI does a very similar thing. So in the Q&A, if it's still working, let me know if you noticed a drop in your organic traffic recently. Just type yes or no in the Q&A if that's working. Let's just I'm just going to say I've answered those ones. So Victoria says yes, she has. Anonymous, whoever Anonymous is, hello Anonymous. Yes, they have. Andrea hasn't. Are you checking, Andrea? I'd be interested to know if you've looked. I think over time you'll see that it will definitely slow down. So actually, it's a fair mix here. There's a few yeses, a few nos. Yes, you do a monthly report. Okay, good. Maybe you've counted it, Andrea, which would be really good. Good to see. Thank you for all the comments in there. So Why does this matter? Well, it matters because if your content isn't visible to AI and search engines, your brand or business risks being forgotten, lost, never found in the first place. If you think about how you Google now, you're going to trawl through. Some people actually go to page two. You're going to do a bit of research, you're going to be looking around, and you're going to use a completely different with AI. You're going to be using a completely different way of finding out information, whether you realize it or not. Because when you're Googling with the way that you search and you're looking at things and you recognize things and you see, oh, I've heard of them before. And you've got your search history, which is changing the results in the timelines. Now, it's unclear at the moment whether when you use ChatGPT, whether it remembers what you're doing. Memory is coming. It's something that OpenAI have said that people want memory. In fact, I'm a Whoop user and my AI coach within Whoop this morning came in and said, I've now got memory. I remember what we've said before. So I can now build on the relationship with it, which is very powerful. But AI searches are using the metrics that they set in place, what they think is important to decide what shows in the search results on the AI summaries, as Google did before. But it is a shift and it is a change in the way it presents the information to you. So when people are searching on AI, they're not Googling. It is a different way. So you might find you won't get seen as often. Um, and really, AI is now like a gatekeeper. So if you don't adapt to this stuff, like with everything in business and everything in marketing, you will lose traction on it, and potentially lose visibility, leads, and customers coming down the line because they're finding things in different ways now. So, three quick wins. There's some stuff you can do. There's a lot more you can do. I'm only going to cover a few things in this webinar, but the ones that I think you can just go away and do yourselves, hopefully. They're all marketing focused and shouldn't need much technical stuff to go at it as well. And these are things I'm doing right now for us and my clients. So they do work. And I've also been speaking to AI about it as well. And I've also built a kind of a 10-point process as well, which if you're interested in that, we're running a workshop in October, which is in real life. No recordings, no videos, because I like real people, which I think actually, as a side note, will be your differentiator going forward with AI, because people will soon get sick of AI. They want to speak to human beings as well. So don't lose focus on that. Right, tangents aside, let's have a look. So there's three quick wins. These are the three things I'm going to cover. You've got to make your content really, really helpful and relevant. So the content on your website needs to be really helpful, useful, and it would and actually support these AI tools. Come to that when I get into that section. You also need to make sure that you build credibility, good backlinks, good authority signals. I'll cover what those are as well. And then the third thing is making sure that your content is fresh, updated. Now, if you've been doing SEO for a while on your website, which is search engine optimization, if you didn't know, these sound fairly familiar. You're like, well, hang on a minute, that sounds like SEO, Todd. Have you got the wrong slide on the screen? And I'll just check. No, that's definitely the AI slide. The good news is, and the exciting news, I think, is that AI isn't actually doing much new. It's just doing a lot of what was always being done within SEO with how Google search results were there, but it's then taking a much larger amount of data and pulling it in, and then the way that you're communicating with it is changing what you get as the results. What do I mean by that? Well, if you Google a company and you look for, let's say you're looking for a plumber, let's use a really basic example throughout. You'll probably just put, plumber near me. It's a really basic search term. But if you have a problem at home with your plumbing and you've got AI, you'll be asking it questions. People are now trying to fix things with AI. And the way that you've gone around the conversation, you've probably shared quite a lot of problems with the issue, right? So let's say you've got a blocked kitchen sink, and then you highlight that that's actually a problem with one of the waste pipes underneath. And you've also shown a picture to ChatGPT, and you both between you worked out that there's a missing flange or something, not a plumber. And you go through like the details of it and you actually work out exactly what's wrong with it, but you don't have the right tool. You don't want to get your hands dirty, or you both between you and the AI agree this is a job for a professional. Instead of Googling plumber near me, you've now got all of this information in data. So then you'll say to AI, ChatGPT or whatever you're using, well, we need to get a plumber in, and be like, do you want me to recommend someone? Because it's really helpful, isn't it? But yeah, recommend someone. It isn't now going to go plumber near me. What it's going to do is take all of the information you've just fed it with that conversation you've had, whether it was voice or text or whatever you're doing, or Neuralink, if we're in the future, from your thoughts, this is coming. It's then going to go, well, I know Todd has got a problem with his flange. Don't quote me on that. And there's an issue with this and this and there's this. And this is particularly what's happening. That's the tool we've highlighted needs to be used. And so I'm going to go and find a plumber now that has experience in that over and above ones that are just near me. Of course, it's also going to get one near me because it knows that it wants a plumber to come fairly soon, but it's going to use that information. So the content that you put on your website now needs to be so different. So that's something I want to jump into when I talk about relevant and helpful content. So if you're creating content for your website, you blog and you've got landing pages, these things still work. They still work, but you won't get as much traffic to your website. So here's a few things I want you to consider with your content based on that little story about the plumbing issue. So your content must answer real questions that your audience is asking. Again, very similar to what we used to do with SEO, and you should still do that. But what specific questions are your audience asking? And think about the kind of longer way that they ask those questions now. The second point is really important as well. Make sure that you use natural conversational language like you're talking to a human, because people talk to ChatGPT like a human, it talks to them like a human, and it goes and finds information that sounds natural and conversational. AI actually prefers conversational content because essentially all the answers you're getting from AI, from us lot anyway, we've put it on the internet. You know, there is an element of teaching and training and it's learning stuff, but where's it get all that information from? It's read the entire internet from whenever it was when it started. So AI matters because the AI and the search engines kind of reward content that satisfies what's known as user intent. So they're looking for a specific problem they're trying to solve. Years ago, it was plumber near me. Now it's 10-minute conversation, find me a plumber. That changes the results that it's likely to find for you. I hope that makes sense because that's the shift I'm seeing is it's not a case of the most popular plumber or back in the Yellow Pages days, Mr. AAA plumber. It's actually the content, the website, the business that's demonstrated it can answer the majority of all these complicated questions. So blog content's great for this. FAQs are great for this. Landing pages are great for this. Again, all of this stuff used to be really, really good and still is really, really good for SEO. And if you're doing a good job of your SEO, by the way, you're in a good place because AI can use those signals to, um, to deliver the results. So AI will favor people who have actually got good SEO. So instead of we offer the best plumbing services, you want to start creating content like how can I unblock a clogged drain and be really, really specific with those things and keep the content and the pages and the FAQs really focused around the most important things that people always ask you. You may have already done this, you might not have already done this, maybe you need to update these things. Again, it's very much an SEO thing, but think about how AI is being asked questions and think about the amount of information that AI can get very, very quickly. So keeping content on pages specific around one particular thing is definitely the way forward because it's easier. It can say, oh, this whole page is about unblocking kitchen sinks, whereas this whole page is about unblocking toilets or bathroom sinks. Maybe they're different. You think about that in your industry. They're kind of nuances and grey areas. So think about your website. Do your pages actually answer real questions your audience has? Let me know in the comments whether you think you're kind of there, whether you've got more work to do. I say in the comments, the Q&A. I'll just click done on some of these things so I can get them out of my way. There we go. So you let me know now if you think you've got work to do. Or if there are any questions, feel free to throw them in there as well. You've probably all seen this, but this is what I'm talking about. This is AI. This is AI mode on Google. I think this is what Google will eventually look like. So I've put in here what's Google's 7-11-4 rule. And here it is, and it's answered it. And it's put Google's 7-11-4 rule is a marketing framework. And it's put, you need 7 hours of content, 11 touch points, and 4 locations. By the way, this is really, really useful stuff, and I'll actually help you with AI. But where's it getting this information from? Well, now you can see on the right-hand side, links to websites that have written blog content about this. So these websites here have written, myself included, because that's actually our blog on the second one there, which is why I took the screenshot. The websites here have given AI the answer, but very few people are going to click through to these blogs because they've already got the answer. This is what we're all doing. We're in the AI summary. We're like, oh God, what's that thing? Oh, what's it called? It's called 7-11-4. Oh, I'll just ask Google, and Google will go, oh, was it this? Oh yeah, that's it. And then you leave. How many people do that? Just be honest in the comments. And thank you for the honesty, as some people have got work to do. Let me know in the comments how often you go to an AI summary and you just read the AI summary and leave. And Arvi says, is AI clever enough to for us to ask if it thinks our website is optimized? No, that's a really good point, actually, Avi. And we'll come to that a little bit later on, so I won't answer that and I'll come to it in a minute. Uh, so Andy says quite frequently, Katie 50-50. Oh, but I'm with you, I think, Katie 50-50. 90% of the time, says Victoria. Alison says mixed. Often click through for more details. Yep, and that's the bit I'll come to in a little bit little bit later. And Andrew says I very rarely click through to the links, but sometimes I do. I did yesterday. This is the shift I'm talking about. So you might be saying, well, Todd, what's the bloody point in creating content and appearing here when all AI is going to do is, frankly, steal all of my content, give it to the Google users and keep them happy, and no one ever visits my website? I believe what's the purpose of all of this is we here, if we are appearing here, we are showing Google, we're helping Google, we're enabling Google and AI to be a good tool so that when someone actually wants a marketing agency, they're more likely to choose the ones that have been helping it with the content. And it feels a bit like AI karma, if you like. But it's also it wants to send people to businesses that are trustworthy and understand their, in intricate details, all of the questions and all of the problems in their industry. So blog content, landing pages, and FAQs are going to be really important going forward with AI appearing here at the top of the search results. And by the way, I believe this is now the top of Google. So when you say I want to be top of Google, I can't scroll down on this screenshot because I didn't go that far down. I believe actually top of Google is now top of AI. So this is position 1, 2, and 3 on Google. And here we are at number 2 for this particular blog, which Becky and my team wrote. Whereas if you're further down, I think that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and off you go from there. There is a bit of good news here is that I think now the top 10 on Google are a really good place to be, because if you scroll down on this AI summary, there's lots of other links and lots of other places, and you can see just there is a link here and there's a link there. And this content, I've tested this quite a bit now. This content is literally copied and pasted most of the time. It's copied and pasted. And if you click through, it usually highlights it in sort of a light purple color to say, this is where I got it from. So AI is stealing your ideas. But if you do click through, you obviously get traffic. Now, let's just check what's on the next slide first. Let me just summarize that. You're going to get a lot less clicks, fewer clicks, but the clicks you get are going to be really, really good. Because if somebody does all this stuff and they're clicking through and they're getting all the information for free, and you're kind of like 50-50 whether you go through to it or not, the people that do actually go through to it definitely want to read more of the content because they feel like they haven't had enough from there and they want to read it. Or if they're doing their research, and there's companies recommended down here, when they go through, they are way more intentional. They are going to make more decisions, more of a, they're more engaged in you as a business because they've already done all of their research. So the traffic you're now getting, it might be a lot less than you used to get, but it really wants to take action and it really cares about you because it's done its research already. It's a much more informed visitor than before. Because think about it, 5 years ago, before we had AI kind of mainstream, most people came to your website to read the content because there was just a very small summary in the search results. And they're like, oh, yeah, that sounds like what I'm looking for. Let's click through and read it. So people were doing all the reading on the website. Now they're doing all the reading here. But they're only doing the reading here because you've written about it on your website. So it's a different relationship with the search results now. You're still going to get clicks, you'll get a lot less of them, but the people that come through definitely want to make more of a conversation with you, and they want to see who you are, what you're about, or maybe they just want to read the whole piece of content. My prediction here, and it's not one based on any kind of SEO knowledge from the industry or someone at Google saying it, but my prediction here is this is going to be more likely what Google looks like in the future, and the clicks you do get will be worth a lot more in terms of weight and kudos and stuff for your SEO. So if you used to get 1,000 clicks a day and now you get 100, I actually think 100 might be worth more than 1,000 because they'll be more weighted, because it's like, oh, wow, someone actually came to the website. That's a really good signal, which is what all of these tools are looking for. So we have a much more positive signal to get traffic. So it's good news, and bad news if you're terrible with blog content writing. So that's the first one. The second one, a bit more technical, is you need to make sure you've got some kind of credible backlinks and authority signals to your website, because AI wants to send people to trustworthy businesses. And it only wants to do that because ultimately, if you use ChatGPT and you end up just getting loads of crap results, I said this on the podcast, you'll stop using ChatGPT because you're like, oh, I used to use ChatGPT, but honestly, it just lied. It made shit up. It said it's a terrible website. I found a plumber. He was rubbish. He didn't turn up. So I actually went back to Google and I trusted the Google ads instead. ChatGPT doesn't want to do that, does it? It wants to give you the best results. It also wants to be very kind to you. Have you noticed how lovely it is to you? It never says a bad word. Try and be rude to ChatGPT. Yeah, it's not going to bite. They're not going to bite. If you want an argument with AI, by the way, use Grok because you can make that quite angry and aggressive because it's Elon Musk and he's crazy. Um, but if you want to get seen at the moment with SEO, credible backlinks to your website are important. So slightly technical, more kind of the what people see is the expensive side of SEO. We do a lot of link building for clients. The links, and this was something I looked at about a year ago now, was should we continue doing link building? Because what's the point with all these AI summaries? But actually the websites that appear high up in the AI summaries and high up in the search results and are recommended by ChatGPT have a good authority online because they have good trust online. And they're essentially saying, well, Google kind of knows what it's doing, so we'll follow that. And obviously, the AI mode in Google is just going to continue with what Google's kind of mantra is around what appears high up in the search results. So your online credibility does matter. So AI will look for trust signals, and some of these signals are good reviews, but other ones are links from other websites to you. These other websites could just be the Chamber of Commerce, the Federation of Small Businesses, community groups that you're part of, or they could be from other websites that have written content about you. You could have had an award and you could be linked from those websites. That's a backlink. That's another website linking to you. There are lots and lots of ways to get backlinks. I won't go into it now. This is a big topic, but the second point is important. There needs to be decent quality, high quality stuff and endorsements from trusted sources. So getting a link, I often use this example. I don't know why, but if you get a link from the local chip shop to your business, probably not going to help. If you get a link from a local business directory or a national newspaper, that's actually a very good authority. Put aside your views of newspapers. That's seen as a high quality and trusted source. And a little tip for you at the bottom, collaborating with other partners, industry partners, guest blogging on each other's websites, getting featured in media, that kind of stuff is really, really good for your authority. So AI is more likely to trust you if you have a lot of those. Just checking I haven't missed anything in the comments. No. So here's a bit of an example. So you could collaborate with one of your with a partner or colleague in the same industry. Maybe you could create like co-authored blog guides or stuff, but linking to each other's content will help because you'll build links to each other. How we run paid link building is we'll go and find websites that have got very good credibility that talk about the topic that our client sells, and we'll go and write content on there. It's usually a fee for that, and then you get a link back to your website, and that can really, really help. So getting high authority stuff. A really easy way to do that is to get media mentions. Well, it's not easy. A good way to do that is to get media mentions, as long as they kind of pass on the SEO to your website. Again, technical, not going to get into it today, but there are places to go out and get there. If you've never done any links to your website, the best place to start is the business directories. The old Yellow Pages I mentioned at the beginning is still online, of course, yell.com. Make sure you're on Apple Maps, Google Maps. Your Google business profile is very important, and lots of the other business directories around it. If you're also part of a body, maybe your Masters of Trades, things like that, get your links on there as well. They all help as long as they're relevant, but avoid the chip shops if you can. So let me know in the comments, have you actively looked for backlinks? Have you done any partner website blogs, that kind of thing? What have you done to try and get links to your website? Be interested to know what you've done. If you haven't done anything, definitely start with those business directories. There's a quick and easy way to do that. If you want to know more about that, drop us a message. Something that we do quite a lot of. And then the third one, which I sort of unpacked earlier, and I will answer Arby's question in a minute because I've saved that at the top. In fact, I'll uncover it now so I can get to it. Definitely keeping your content updated is important now. So regularly update, if you already blog, update your blogs, your guides, and your website services pages to stay current. That top point there, if I said this in the podcast this week, if you do nothing else after leaving this webinar, please do this one thing. If you sell a product or supply a service and it's not written on your website and it's not described on your website or given in kind of detail on your website, go and do that. Because most websites are created as kind of very lean, easy to read, nice to navigate, design heavy, pictures, mine included. And the content was like, oh, just don't put too much on there. Just say enough. People will contact you for more. It's not people now, is it? It's AI. I don't know how quickly AI can read the Bible. I keep using the statistic that I made up, but I suspect it's in a few seconds. I bet we could say to ChatGPT now, I bet we could say, find me a part of the Bible that says this, and it would find it immediately because it's already read it. Or we could say to it, how quickly could you read it? It'd be like, well, this quickly. If you feed it loads of websites and chuck it in it, is it reading it or is it already read it? And I'm not really sure. But the fact is, it can get through a lot of content. I think one of the big issues most people have got, myself included, and we're adding content to our site as we speak, not as we speak, because no one's here today. We are adding it at the moment in time. We're adding content to our website, the things we actually do, because we haven't talked about them in enough detail. Why is that important? Because if someone says, find me an agency that does this, and it particularly covers it like this, and I haven't got that written on my website, it isn't going to find me. Whereas in the old way of Googling, you'd look around marketing agencies, right, I drop a few inquiries and I'll type in there, hey guys, do you do so and so and so and so? And people will go, yeah, we do. Actually, I haven't mentioned our website, but thank you for contacting us. Those days are gone. People are using AI. They're assuming it's completely real and new. And it's correct. It isn't correct because actually the information on the internet, lots of it's wrong, lots of it's fake, lots of it's incomplete, and your website may well be that too. So definitely refresh content, update content, um, and obviously AI and search engines favor the latest information. So if there's something happening in your industry at the moment, I would make a point of creating content for it, just like you would have done if you were Googling things, doing SEO before. Um, so Usman says great tips on backlinks. I'll definitely be implementing that. You are welcome. You're probably a member of some kind of foot body, pun intended. So yeah, get yourself on those for sure. Um, so here's an example for my world. If I had a 2022 SEO tips, I'd update it to the 2025 SEO tips. I'd change the title. I'd never change the URL because that's linked into Google. I'd change the title, some of the structure of the web of the page, but I'd also put in the new tips, the new advice. So if you're an accountant and things have changed because the government have stood up with a red briefcase, you need to update those things. So keep your content up to date and fresh all the time because without you realizing it, you're appearing in AI summaries. You're appearing there all the time, or you're not appearing there because your content is out of date. And AI knows what's up to date because it's got all of the news articles and everything else going on as well. So, when was the last time you did this? And I guarantee it's as poor as us. We blog all the time. I think it's about once a fortnight at the moment. But our main pages on the website, we haven't really touched them for a long time. So we've updated now our titles, descriptions. We've added a little bit more in, and we're currently building a section down the bottom. A really simple way to add more content that's kind of AI friendly to your website is FAQs. By the way, you can build these like really nice concertinas. So you sort of got the question and you click it to get the answer. Have you seen those? That's really good for AI. It loves those because it's like, well, here's all the questions and here's all the answers. It puts it in a really simple place to find it. I guess we can make the wrong assumption with AI that, oh, it's really, really clever. I don't need to make it easy for it to find it. But it's better if you do. It's better if your website is fast and it's got all the answers. Why does it need to be fast? Well, have you seen how quick ChatGPT is? Do you think it's going to wait 5 seconds for your website to load? It's not going to do that, is it? It's going to go to the one next door on the internet, if it was like a street, and pick that one because it's quicker. If you haven't answered all of the questions on the web pages, but someone else has, who's it going to choose? It's going to choose the other one. So you think about that with the questions and the FAQs on there. Um, Definitely be focused on that if you can. Um, Victoria says, after your feedback recently, oh mine, I've been updating our website. Awesome, good stuff. So quick example for you. So I typed into Google, um, find me a list of local Warwickshire networking events, and I was kind of hoping we'd come up, and we did. There's us in position 3. And obviously the AI summary here is like it's showing you things from Eventbrite, from Meetup, from the Warwickshire County Council. So here it's actually, this is a pretty good summary actually. Sorry, I touched my screen. Um, it's listed a load of things, and then it says, look, here's the event listing platforms, and it hasn't given the answers away. So this is what I hope will happen with the kind of search results is I've got to click through then to meet up. I've got to click through to the council's website to go and find it. And then on the right hand side here, you've then got actual pieces of content here. I assume somewhere that their spaghetti is a bit linked a bit further down as well. So you've got links to click. You can click show all. It would be a load more there. I think this is where search will go. How you get here is by creating content that's up to date. So we've updated that, as you can see, from in July this year. We wrote that blog about, it must be 5 or 6 years ago now, and we update it all the time when new events come along. We often say to people, "Oh, would you mind if we include you in our directory?" "Oh, we'd love you to." And it's a nice little networking conversation for us as well. But keep that information up to date. So, could you create a knowledge base on your website? Could you create something that's useful to your ideal customers? So, our ideal audience go networking because that's marketing. So, most people that we connect with go to marketing. It's why we run our own marketing event. That's why we created a list of Warwickshire networking events. Why Warwickshire? Because we're based in Warwickshire. So, think about what sort of knowledge base could you keep on your website? Wikipedia is a great example of a knowledge base. Amazon is a great example of a knowledge base. And in fact, ChatGPT and Google Gemini are using Amazon as part of their knowledge bank because there's a lot of information on Amazon. It might just be somewhere you go and buy bits and pieces for your household, but actually there's a lot of information there as well. So have a think about how you can create yourself a bit of a knowledge base on your website as well. And that goes kind of beyond the blog. Um, you want a place that's obviously about all of the knowledge that you've got and you've placed it on your website. So a bit of a recap. So there's loads more we need to do, but these are the ones that I thought would be easy for you to go around and have a bit of a play with. Make the content really helpful and relevant. So think about it, like that plumbing example I gave you. Talk about the specific things. It's not enough now to just be a plumber in Warwickshire and have a few pages. So I do sinks and toilets and outside drainage and surveys. Well, you need to show that you can do that. You need to give information because until someone Googles you and or looks for you or asks the AI will recommend one, the AI tools are going to be using your information to help people and have those conversations, to kind of warm them up, if you like. They're having a conversation. They're almost like your front of house now. They're out there having the conversations all the time en masse, constantly, which is kind of what Google was doing for you. But now these people are going to come through well educated, looking for specific people who do specific things. Definitely look at that backlink thing because ChatGPT doesn't matter how many times I ask it and which way around I ask it. It's like, no, links trustworthy sites with good trust flow in Google, sites that are seen as high authority or appear high in the search results for just, their obvious terms. So marketing agency Warwickshire, if I'm positioned in third on Google for that, it takes that into account. So definitely look at these things. Backlinks are one of the top things in SEO to get your website higher up on the search results. And it's obviously going to be used by AI. It's a sensible signal for it to use. And I would absolutely keep your content fresh and updated or created. I'll probably add to the end of that. Lots of people literally don't talk about what they do on their website. They just don't say they do surveys or they do this or they do that because they think oh, people know that. Yeah, but AI doesn't know that, and we're trying to train this tool to understand all about it. And if your competition say that they do it, and you don't say you do it, it's going to assume you don't do it. It is. Um, Let me go back to before I eat humble pie. Let me go back to Arby's question because it was relevant to that. Is AI clever enough for us to ask it if it thinks our website is optimized? It's a really great point, Arby. It's a really good bit of homework for you guys to do, is to do a scenario that I did for one of my clients the other week. So one of our clients is a 3PL, a third-party logistics company. Essentially, what they do is they have a warehouse with your stuff in it, and when someone orders something from your website, it sends them the order and they ship it. So it's all done outside of your world. So you could literally run a huge warehouse from a laptop in Barbados. The dream is here. So I pretended that I had built myself a cool little business where I was like shipping stuff out and I'd gone on Amazon and got eBay and all this kind of stuff. And I was talking to ChatGPT saying, oh, it's kind of grown really quite big now. I can't fit the business in my garage anymore. What do I do? And it came up with a few scenarios. And obviously I was looking for the answer of 3PL. And I said, no, I've gone quite big. I think I need a warehouse, but I don't want to buy one. I don't want to rent one. And it said, oh, what you probably need is a 3PL. And I went, oh, what's a 3PL? And he told me what a 3PL was and he explained it all. And so that sounds really interesting. Well, I'm based in Warwickshire. I like to work with local businesses. Couldn't you recommend one? And it did, and it recommended some people, and it recommended some companies, and it didn't recommend my client. And I was like, interesting. So then I asked it, can I just ask why you didn't recommend this business? And that's when you get the answer, Ari. That's when it says, I didn't recommend this business based on this massive conversation because of these things. And I was like, right, these are the things we're now going to do. We're going to go and create a knowledge base. We're going to go away and build out these content pages. We're going to go and actually talk about this specific thing because that is important. So think about think about how people are using AI. Try and get your head into it. I also need to eat some humble pie because for years I've said that awards are a load of bollocks. Most people get awards, they self-nominate themselves, post it on LinkedIn, get loads of comments, get loads of people voting, and then they win an award, and like, there's really no data behind it. I still feel the same way about it. I still don't think award ceremonies are anything other than a business model that will piss a lot of people off. It pisses people off all the time. When I meet people that run these things, they're pissed off with me. I don't care. It's what I think. However, I need to eat some humble pie because apparently ChatGPT and friends think that if you win an award, that's actually quite a good thing. So I'm going to eat some humble pie soon, I think. I think we're going to win an award. I think we're going to go out and get an award because it is important for AI. So if you have won an award, you can say you're award winning. That would be good. Or you can go out and get yourself a credible award. I think massive prediction or a hope, I hope this happens, that AI gets intelligent and says, well, they're just self-nominated awards. We'll ignore those. But those are industry awards. We'll use those. But at the moment, it kind of is just, well, if you've won an award, you're an award-winning company. And I see it a lot of the times when I ask ChatGPT for recommended companies to do this and this, it says these companies are award-winning, and it really thinks it's an important thing. So a bit of humble pie from me with the hope that ChatGPT gets intelligent and realizes that some of them are just nonsense. I hope that pisses people off. Some key takeaways. AI is changing how we discover and rank content. So the old way is going. It's going away ever so slowly. It's still 89% of searches are done on Google, so it isn't like a massive change now, but I want you to act on it fairly soon. Um, Adapting now will help you stay visible online and ahead of your competition. And as I said on the podcast this week, this might be a case that actually your competition are already ahead of you because they've been doing good SEO already, and that will only add volume to the AI summaries and the searches. So if you've got good presence online already, this is going to play into it. And I haven't covered this in the webinar, but ChatGPT and Gemini look for everything online. They look for everything from company's house to your LinkedIn comments and everything in between it. They're looking at the overall picture because it can, and it can join all of the dots. The old fashioned way was what? Well, you'd go to a website and you'd have a Google business listing and a few things linking to it, and that's what Google looked at. It's a bit more intelligent than that. But now AI is able to go out and get social mentions and what people say about you, which is massively important, by the way. If you're a shit business, you're probably not going to get recommended. But some would argue that's a good thing. But the information is out there. People say crap about you online. They say terrible things about you on Glassdoor because you're a terrible employer. You've got awful Google reviews, or they're talking about you in a Facebook group. This stuff might come back and bite you. So your brand is going to be very important. And that's us. That's me. Quick webinar, quick lunch and learn. I hope those three things were useful. If you like that and you want more, genuinely more, I'm going to cover some of that and then a load more on our next workshop. It's called How to Get Found on Social Search and ChatGPT. So I'm going to be looking around the kind of social media world as well as the search results as well. It's free. It's in Leamington. It's on the 17th of October. I cannot believe how good I am with this date because I'm usually rubbish. Big shout out as well to our sponsors, to FL1 Digital, ALM Translations, Mr. Rightside, FSB, and Iceland AV, who will be doing the stage and lighting. It's a brilliant event, even if I do say so myself. There's great networking at the start, and I'd love to see some of you there. Let me know in the Q&A if you've got any questions if I haven't already answered them. I think I've got most of them. I'm happy to take a few questions now while we've got a few minutes, or I'll let you go about your day. Let me know in the bottom. And what I'm going to do now is, if you've all scanned that, if you need it back up, let me know. Thanks, Lucy. Thank you for coming along. Pleasure, Larissa. Let's stop the sharing so I can see. I'm going to see myself. Sorry about the chat, by the way. No idea. One day I'll work out why the chat doesn't work. So Tara, does AI crawl content that isn't words, e.g. images and infographics? That is a fantastic question, Tara. Yes, of course it does. And one of the things it absolutely loves is YouTube. It loves YouTube, with a slight caveat, because you do need to have good titles and descriptions on it, but it really likes that. Very often or not, you may have noticed this, ChatGPT will recommend a YouTube video. ChatGPT, I mean, I was talking to my Whoop app this morning, AI, on my phone, and it can read pictures, you can send it links, and it can use it. So yes, absolutely, it can crawl images and infographics and things like that. So get on the case with those. Thanks, Harvey. Thanks, Tracy. I've answered that one. Thanks, Yessa. Thanks for coming along. Katie, thanks for your questions. Cool. I think I've got most of those. Wonderful. Yeah, I will put the I'll put that QR code back up there again. Say totally free. 17th of October. Great networking. Would love to see you all there. But thank you for joining me over lunch, and I'll speak to you all soon. Let's just check if there's any other questions. Got the Tara one. Got that. Harvey wants some pie. Thanks, Anna, for coming along. Hey, Mark. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for it. Perfect. Right. I'm going to I'm going to leave you to it if I can get to my bar. There we go. There we go. Awesome. Speak to you all soon. Cheers.